Hey there, fellow dreamers and nightmare enthusiasts. Welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, welcome to the Madhouse. Before we dive in, let me just say, subscribe, ring that bell, do a backflip, whatever floats your yacht, because we're all going to be millionaires, right? And millionaires have yachts, or so I've heard from my extensive research on lifestyles of the rich and infamous. Speaking of millionaires, let me tell you about this weird dream I had. It's been haunting me like that one song you can't get out of your head. You know, the one about hustling harder, grinding 24/7 and becoming a bazillionaire before you're old enough to rent a car without paying those ridiculous young driver fees. But first, did you know that the average millennial will change careers approximately 37 times before breakfast? Okay, I made that up, but it feels true, doesn't it? That's the power of hustle culture, folks. Making you believe in statistics I just pulled out of my artisanal small batch hat. It's like we're all playing career roulette, but instead of a ball, we're using our sanity. Now about that dream. Picture this. I'm scrolling through InstaSnap or TikTok or whatever the cool kids are using these days, and suddenly I'm sucked into my phone. I know, it's usually the other way around, right? Most of us are more likely to have our souls sucked out by our phones, but hey, this is dreamland. Anything goes. Anyway, I find myself in this bizarre world where everyone's a CEO. And I mean everyone. The guy flipping burgers, CEO of Patty Enterprises. The kid mowing lawns, CEO of Grassmasters Inc. Even the pets are in on it. I saw a hamster with a tiny briefcase running on its wheel, probably crushing its quarterly goals. There was a cat in a power suit meowing into a Bluetooth earpiece about synergy and thinking outside the litter box. It was wild, but here's the kicker. Nobody's actually doing anything. They're all just hustling, running around in circles, shouting motivational quotes at each other. Rise and grind. Sleep is for the weak. If you're not making money in your sleep, you're doing it wrong. It was like a CrossFit gym met a Tony Robbins seminar, and they had a really intense baby. I tried to tell them, hey, maybe we should, actually produce something, but they just look at me like I've suggested we all take a nap. The horror. One guy actually hissed at me and threw a copy of How to Win Friends and Influence People at my head. Spoiler alert, that's not how you win friends. As I wandered through this fever dream of capitalism gone wild, I stumbled upon the weirdest sight yet. A group of people gathered around a giant coffee cup, chanting, "Productivity, productivity!" They were pouring energy drinks and espresso shots into it like some kind of deranged offering to the gods of efficiency. I half expected Jeff Bezos to rise out of the cup like some caffeinated kraken. Now, let's take a step back from my fever dream and talk about what's really going on out there. We've got these influencers, right? They're like modern-day snake oil salesmen, but instead of miracle elixirs, they're selling the dream of instant success, and boy, are they selling it hard. Here's my impression of every hustle culture guru ever. Hey guys, it's your boy, Money McMillionaire here. Just woke up in my solid gold bed in my mansion that I definitely own and didn't just rent for this video. Want to know my secret? Well, for just $999.99, I'll tell you how I made $1 billion by the age of 12 using this one weird trick. Banks hate me, governments fear me, my parents, well, they're still not impressed, but that's a story for another day. Spoiler alert. The trick is having rich parents, or lying, usually both. It's like a magician revealing their secrets, except the only thing disappearing is your money and free time. But here's the thing, and I'm going to get a little real for a second. This whole hustle harder mentality is doing some serious damage. It's like we're all hamsters on that wheel I mentioned earlier, running ourselves ragged and wondering why we're not getting anywhere. We're so busy trying to make it that we forget to ask ourselves what it even is. I mean, have you seen the bags under the eyes of some of these hustle harder types? They look like they're auditioning for a zombie movie. Night of the Living Entrepreneurs. Coming soon to a burned out psyche near you. The truth, success takes time and effort, and usually a whole lot of failure along the way, but that doesn't make for a great TikTok, does it? You can't fit. I failed miserably for 5 years before I had my first minor success into a snappy 15-second video. Well, you could, but it wouldn't get nearly as many likes as I made $1 million overnight with this simple trick. Let's break down some of these hustle culture myths, shall we? Myth hash 1, sleep is for the weak reality. Sleep is for people who don't want to hallucinate during important meetings. Trust me, your clients don't appreciate it when you try to shake hands with imaginary leprechauns. Myth hash 2. If you're not working, you're losing reality. If you're not resting, you're still losing, but slower and more painfully. It's like trying to win a marathon by sprinting the whole way. Spoiler alert, you're going to face plant around mile 2. Myth #3. You need to be available 24/7. Reality. The only things that need to be available 24/7 are hospitals and convenience stores. Unless you're selling emergency snacks or performing heart surgery, it's okay to turn off your phone sometimes. Myth #4. Multitasking is the key to productivity. Reality. Multitasking is the key to doing multiple things poorly at the same time. Congratulations, you've achieved mediocrity in stereo. So, what's the alternative? Well, how about we try something radical? 1. Set realistic goals. Sorry, billionaire by 25 inches isn't one of them unless you're planning on marrying Elon Musk. 2. Work smart, not just hard. Your body will thank you when you're not hunched over like Quasimodo at 30. 3. Take care of yourself. Burnout isn't a badge of honor, folks. It's more like a flashing warning sign that you're about to crash. 4. Remember that your worth isn't measured by your bank account. If it was, we'd all be walking around with our ATM balance tattooed on our foreheads. And most importantly, don't compare your behind the scenes to someone else's highlight reel. That influencer with the Lamborghini, for all you know, they're living in their parents' basement and that car's a rental. Or maybe they won it in a raffle, or maybe, plot twist, it's actually made of cardboard and they're really good at Photoshop. Here's a fun exercise. Next time you see one of those day in the life of a CEO videos, try to count how many times they actually do any real work. Spoiler, it's usually somewhere between none and does looking pensively out of windows count. Now, I'm not saying don't work hard or don't have ambition. By all means, chase your dreams, but maybe don't chase them off a cliff, you know? It's okay to take the scenic route sometimes, stop and smell the roses or the coffee or whatever it is successful people are supposed to smell these days. To wrap this up, let me share another dream I had. In this one, everyone was just content. Doing work they enjoyed at a reasonable pace with time for friends, family, and yes, even sleep. Crazy, right? People were pursuing their passions without hashtagging every moment. They were building businesses without burning out. They were successful without sacrificing their souls to the productivity gods. When grinding becomes your grindstone. The hustle paradox. We're constantly bombarded with messages telling us to hustle harder, grind non-stop, and sleep when we're dead. The mantra of modern success seems to be work harder, push further, and never stop. It's like society has turned into a giant, never-ending episode of Shark Tank, where everyone's pitching their latest side hustle, their passion project, their grind set. The pressure to constantly be on the move, to always be creating, innovating, and pushing boundaries is immense. But here's the thing about constantly grinding, it grinds you down. It's the ultimate paradox. The more you push, the more you risk burning out. You're told the key to success is to work yourself to the bone, to sacrifice sleep, personal time, and even your health. But what good is success if you're too burnt out to enjoy it? The hustle culture glorifies the grind, but it often overlooks the toll it takes on our mental and physical well-being. Balance is crucial. Taking time to rest, to recharge, and to reflect is not a sign of weakness, but of wisdom. It's about working smarter, not just harder. True success is not just about achieving your goals, but also about maintaining your health, your relationships, and your happiness along the way. So the next time you feel the pressure to keep grinding, remember the paradox. Sometimes stepping back can propel you forward. It's not about how hard you hustle, but how well you balance the hustle with the rest of your life. Embrace the journey, not just the destination. After all, life is not a sprint, but a marathon. And in this marathon, pacing yourself is key to reaching the finish line with a smile. Instagram versus reality behind the filter of success. And let's talk about the influencers, those perfectly curated beacons of success. They show us their highlight reels, their filtered lives, their carefully constructed narratives of effortless achievement. But here's the truth. Instagram is not reality. It's a carefully curated illusion, and buying into that illusion can be dangerous. Burnout Boulevard, the price tag of unrealistic expectations. Because when we constantly compare ourselves to these unrealistic standards, when we buy into the lie that we should be hustling 24/7, we set ourselves up for failure. And failure, my friends, is not a good look. More importantly, it takes a toll: stress, anxiety, insomnia, burnout. These are just a few of the delightful souvenirs you can expect to pick up on the Burnout Boulevard. Redefining success, from chasing likes to finding fulfillment. So, how do we escape this hamster wheel of hustle? First, we need to redefine success. It's not about the likes, the followers, the money. It's about finding something you're passionate about and doing it well. It's about finding joy in the journey, not just the destination. It's about prioritizing your well-being, both mental and physical. Work smarter, not harder: strategies for sustainable success. Second, we need to work smarter, not harder. This means setting realistic goals, prioritizing tasks, and learning to say no. It means taking breaks, delegating when possible, and automating the mundane. Remember, you're not a machine. You're a human being with limits, and pushing yourself beyond those limits is a recipe for disaster. Self-care isn't selfish, it's your secret weapon. Third, and perhaps most importantly, we need to prioritize self-care. This means getting enough sleep, take that hamster CEO, eating healthy, exercising regularly, and making time for activities you enjoy. Self-care isn't selfish, it's essential. It's the fuel that allows you to show up as your best self, both in your personal and professional life. But hey, maybe that's not just a dream. Maybe that's something we can actually work towards. And if that's not the real hustle, I don't know what is. Remember, life isn't a race. It's more like a really weird, long-form improv show where the rules keep changing and nobody knows what's going on. So why not enjoy the ride? If you enjoyed this video, smash that like button. If you didn't, well, just pretend it's an avant-garde performance piece about the futility of social media validation. It's very deep. You wouldn't understand. And hey, if you're watching this while working on your side hustle at 3 a.m., maybe take this as a sign to get some sleep. The grind will still be there tomorrow, I promise. It's like a clingy ex always hanging around waiting for you to pay attention to it. Remember, in the grand scheme of things, we're all just cogs in the machine. But who says we can't be well-oiled, happy cogs with good work-life balance and maybe a hobby or two? Stay weird, stay wonderful, and for the love of all that is holy, get some sleep. This has been your name, professional dream analyst, amateur life coach, and full-time hustler of naps, signing off. P.S. If any hustle gurus are watching this and want to sue me, just remember, you can't get blood from a stone and you can't get money from a millennial with student loans. Checkmate capitalism.